folks, back again for the win. Let's check out digits average, a Python exercise done in Codewars, or that will be done in Codewars. Okay, the description: given a non-negative integer, take the mean as the average of each pair of consecutive digits. Repeat the process until you have a single integer, then return that integer. If the average of two digits is not an integer, round the result up. The average of 8 and 9 will be 9, because that's 8, 9, 17. The average is probably 8.5. Round it up, it's going to be 9, or it's 8 point something. All right, that is digits average. Let's look at examples. So you are going to be given many times you're going to be given a multi-digit integer or single-digit integer. You're going to be given an integer. And what you do is, for each set of digits that are next to each other, you get the average of them. And so the 2 and the 4 combined is a 6. The 4 and the 6 combined is a 10. And it's going to be 6 divided by 2, 3. 10 divided by 2 is 5, of course. So on that first turn, I guess you could say first iteration, you've got 3 and a 5. Then you do the process again. You get the average of the sum of the consecutive digits. Now the consecutive digits are 3 and 5. Getting the sum of 3 and 5, you get an 8, of course. And the average is 8 divided by 2. That gets you a 4. So your end result is 4. So in this process, you add consecutive digits, get the average. It's always going to be divided by 2. And then you collect those averages, and that makes your next new integer that you then take into the process again. And this process goes over and over again until you arrive at 1 digit. Once you have 1 digit, you return that sucker, and the video is over. But yeah, there is your process. Here's the code. Let's go. Fired up this morning. Let's get it. I don't know what we're getting, but we're getting some code completion. That's what we're getting. Alrighty. So you're going to be given usually a multi-digit integer. You've got to break that multi-digit integer into separate digits. So if you're looking at a number like 5, 2, 1, you got to break it apart into like a separate 5, separate 2, and a separate 1. How do you do this breaking apart? And these are lines, they're not ones. Let's actually look at, maybe this makes it look better, I don't know. Yeah, it almost looks like a list there. Yeah, 5, 2, 1. But how do you do that? There's a couple of ways to do it. You can do it mathematically, which I'm not going to do here. You can do modulo 10 on the number, which, like, if you do 5, 2, 1 modulo 10, it gives you a 1, which is the number in the ones place. And then you you take that 1 off, and then you go again, and you get 52 modulo 10 would give you a 2, and you would follow that process. Well, we're not going to do the mathematical process. We're going to do the simple, easy Python process of taking the number, the integer, converting it to a string, then converting it to a list. So that we'll just have a list of numeric strings that we can then turn into a list of integers. So maybe it's expensive on the processing side, but this is a small exercise, so processing be damned. Let's go. All right. So I'm going to create a really early morning throat clearing. I'm going to turn my multi-digit integer into a list of integers. Here we go. All right, let me check these pieces. So, I say so quite a bit, don't I? If you've watched a lot of these videos. So I do. Okay. I'm going to take the original integer, convert it to a string. Then I'm going to convert that string to a list. So then I'm going to have a list of numeric strings. I need these numeric strings to be individual integer digits. So I am going to call the map function, and I'm going to call the map function where I'm going to run the integer function on every element of this list, and then they'll all be integers. The map function returns a map object, and then I'm going to convert that map object into a list. I'm not sure. I may be able to do what I'm going to do with the map object, but I just wanted to make sure it was a list so that I know without a doubt that things are going to work. But I guess you could try it with a map object and see. I'm not going to take the time to do it right now, especially not in a recording. Save that for another time. So after this line, I'm going to have a list of integers. And then I can do my summation and my averaging and all of that good stuff. So I'm going to loop through this list. And, well, actually I'm not going to loop through it. So that's, I'm just so used to saying that because you do that all the time with loops. What I'm actually going to do is I'm going to do the process that I discussed a few minutes ago until the length of my list is 1. So while the length of the list is greater than 1, I'm going to do my process. And what the process is going to be is I'm going to, and I'll set it out here, I'm going to some consecutive digits and get means until I only have 1 digit. That's pretty much the exercise. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a temporary list to hold my new digits. Here is going to be a looping through of the list. In this situation, I'm looping through the list, and I'm looping through the list, and I'm starting at the second element, and I'm going, my boundary is the end of the list, basically. And for each iteration, I am adding the current element to the previous element, getting the sum, and then getting an average of that sum. I haven't put in the code for that yet, but I'm about to do it. Once I change my pen to a cursor, here I am. A little involved here. Okay, let's make sure parentheses are solid here. Got the summation there. got the division here. Then I got my, no, this is the division. It's talking to myself here. And I'm talking to you. Can you hear me? Time to explain. I say this all the time to people, students, whatever. When you see an expression that looks complicated, you should go from the inside out to understand it. And here, what's happening is I'm getting the sum of the current element plus the previous element. I minus 1 is the previous element. Then I take that sum and divide it by 2, getting the average. And this average is going to be, it's going to be a float outcome. And once I get the average, I'm plugging it into the math.ceil function. That's going to round it up, basically. So the directive in the instruction said to round up. If your number is not, if it's not a whole number, round it up. That's what I'm doing. I'm just rounding up every single time, whole number or not. Obviously, a whole number rounds up to the same number. Yes, yes. And once I've got that quantity, I am going to append it to my list. There we go. Thus giving me a new digit. And once I've got that, once this list or once this loop is over, I'll have my new set of digits. I'm going to replace my original list with this new set of digits because this new set of digits will be the source for the next iteration. Yes, yes, yes. Right there. Once the while loop is over, meaning once I've got my 1-digit list, I'm going to return the first. What am I doing here? I'm going to return the first digit of that list, or the first element of that list, because there's only one element, but that'll be it. There is a solution, folks, or there is my solution. Oh my goodness, what's up? Oh yeah, got to import math at the top. I do so few importations that I forget in Python. There we go. Good Google and Moogla. Impressive. It is impressive, folks. Stare at the awesomeness. I know you can do better, but it's all good. All right. Digits average. That's not the name of the exercise. It is the name of the exercise. Okay. And I went the wrong way. Goodness. No. I killed my code. Anyway. I can bring it right back through the magic of YouTube. There we go. There's my code, folks. Craziness. It is digits average, Python exercise, and Codewars. All right. Very good. I'll catch you next time. Talk to you later.